well. I'm going to let that set up. Okay, hey everybody. I'm going to talk about my low back pain experience. So I've had two of them, two pretty rough ones. When I was pretty young, and this one's kind of sad. I think I was like 10 years old, and my mom, she fell actually going out the back door, and she sprained her ankle really bad. She ended up having to go on crutches for a couple weeks, and we had a whole flight of stairs in the house. And what I did was I tried going down the stairs with her crutches. It was the dumbest idea I've ever did. But what happened was I tried going down and I just slammed my butt on like the fourth step and literally slammed my butt on every single step going down. Once I got to the bottom of the stairs, I couldn't even like breathe. I was in shock. And my dad actually started yelling at the dog. It was pretty funny. He thought it was a dog. But I really bruised my tailbone really bad. I actually got an x-ray and it was really bad. I played a lot of soccer at the time. I couldn't even run. I couldn't even sit in class. And I saw the doctor. And at the time, literally the only piece of advice I got was to rest, to lay in bed and wait until it got better. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, I want to play soccer. I have to go to school. I have to sit. And he said, you just need to lay down and rest. I was young, so it got better in time. But it took a couple months. I mean, I didn't do anything for it. No one told me anything what to do about it. And my butt hurt so bad. It was the most uncomfortable, unpleasant feeling, bruising your tailbone. So I hope no one ever has to do it. The second time I had back pain, this was a lot more intense. And then towards the end on Instagram and even on YouTube, I'll try to answer questions. And we can talk a little bit about everyone else's low back pain experience. So the second time, I was actually in my first year of grad school. I was at USC. And I think it was just a cascade of bad events. I was actually at the gym lifting with Mike. And that day in school, we were doing a lot of different things. We were learning about the back. We were practicing skills, what to do, what not to do. And I went to the gym with Mike, and Mike always lifts like crazy. And it was towards the end of the session. I remember it very, very vividly. We were doing shoulder press. And then towards the end, he was like, all right, let's just do one arm shoulder press. And I was doing like 245 pounds or 250 pounds in each hand. And then I said, all right, I'm too lazy to go get a lighter weight. I'll just stick with the one weight. And then as I was fatiguing, I was going down, I was pushing back up. And then I just heard this loud click in my back. And I was like, oh, that's not good. The next day, I already had golf plans with one of my classmates because we didn't have class. So then we went and golfed. And I remember I got really frustrated because I had a really bad tee shot and I swung the club as hard as I could and I felt the same click. I was like, oh, that didn't feel good. Unfortunately, I already had a snowboard trip planned up to Mammoth, same exact weekend. So everything lifting happened on Wednesday, golf happened on Thursday, and then Friday night we're going up to Mammoth for a 3-day snowboarding trip. And I remember the first day I was bent over. I woke up early in the morning, trying to tie my shoes. My back felt so tight. I was like, this is not good. And I was just taking a lot of Advil to get through it. Yeah, this sounds really stupid, right? Coming from me. So then I snowboard for 3 days. I'm falling on my butt here and there. I'm bending over a lot, taking care of my bindings and my boots. Just really worked hard for 3 days. I get back to Southern California after driving back from Mammoth. My back was just completely locked up. It was the first time I've ever had back pain like that in my entire life. It was really uncomfortable. It was nerve-wracking. I never felt anything like that. I couldn't get into any comfortable position. And then being a first-year PT student, you go in the class the next day, everyone notices why you're sitting funny or complaining about your back. Now you have 90 plus people that want to take a look at your back or want to know what's going on. And then we're learning about low back pain and I'm already overthinking it, completely overthinking it. And I'm trying to get professors to look at my back. I'm trying to get everyone to look at my back and work on my back. Versus I just needed to take it easy. What I did to my back in the past 4 or 5 days was just so much in a short amount of time. And it was, like I said, it was just a bad group of events. And then time went on. My back wasn't getting better, but also at the same time, I wasn't doing anything to really help my back. I was trying to have everyone push on it, piss it off. I was also trying to have everyone look at it. I was doing everything that you could think of above and below the sun. And then we had midterms coming up. So I was doing a lot of sitting, studying. I was doing a lot of standing, studying, just sitting in the same spot. And then I was stressed with exams. So I was already stressed out in general. And then I would get stressed out about studying. And then I would think about my back and it would make me more stressed. So you hear this, right? All of these things are adding up. All these things are taking a toll on my body. And then I was like, all right, why don't I just go see a doctor? Because I never had back pain like this before. So I go see a doctor and at USC, and then immediately the PA just referred me to a spine specialist and did an x-ray, referred me to a spine specialist. Maybe because I was a USC student and I was able to get right in, maybe that was it. I don't know. I didn't necessarily advocate for it, but I right away went to go see a spine specialist. He did another x-ray. And I remember he had a resident with him. They're looking at the image, and then the resident just yells out, like, "Oh, he has pretty bad scoliosis." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I've never been told that I have scoliosis in my life before. And also they were talking about my curves in my spine. And again, I was just a first year, so I knew some stuff. I didn't know everything. I definitely didn't know what I know now. Knowing what I know now, sometimes people's backs, their images, it's a snapshot, right? If you're taking photos of someone that you're hanging out with and they smile, they make a funny face, you take a photo, and then they change their position of their face, they change what they do, they take another photo. Two separate photos side by side, very, very different of the features, the alignment of the face, what's happening. Same thing can happen with an x-ray. Actually, some of the muscles in the back will guard, and you may lose some of those curvatures of the spine, or things may even be rotated to offload an unhappy tissue. So maybe that's why I had scoliosis at the time. Regardless, and then next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, we gotta get an MRI." I'm like, all right, now I have to go get an MRI. I've never gotten an MRI before. Now I'm even more stressed out because now I have to take time away from studying, take time away from school, and I gotta go find a way to go get this MRI. And the whole issue of even trying to get this thing covered by insurance, going through the loopholes of insurance, it was just so much unnecessary time that I didn't necessarily have, that I didn't really want to deal with. But I also wanted to take care of my body. So then I go get this MRI. I'm laying in this tube. I will never do that again if I don't have to. That was very uncomfortable, and I just didn't like it. Like I said, it just took a lot of time out of my day. It was the only time that I could get for the MRI was right after an exam that I was taking. I literally had to rush through my exam to make sure that I could get to the MRI on time. But it was across the street, so that wasn't too bad. But still, it was just frustrating in general, the entire process. So I go get this MRI, and then I go see the spine specialist again, and he tells me that I have herniated disc. And then finally I get told to go see PT. I was a PT student. I just cannot fathom that that my classmates or some of the faculty were just like, come see me, or like, go to a PT clinic. That's what still boggles my mind. I mean, I'm not going to point any fingers because I should have known better from the get-go. But again, that's where I'm going to go to in this story is like, if I knew back then what I knew now. So then finally I go see PT. Long story short, I actually got help from my boss, who I work for now at Select PT. Now he owns Aspire Physical Therapy. It was great. It was finally relieving. I finally got the treatment that I needed. I was finally getting told what I needed to do. However, from the time that I actually hurt my back to the time that I got PT, it was probably like 3.5, 4 weeks. So in general, and in summary of the story, it's just like I should have been told right from the get-go exactly what to do. I should have taken it easy. I shouldn't have had everyone, including myself and my classmates, trying to work on my back. And I should have just seen a physical therapist from the get-go. The x-rays, the MRIs, in retrospect, I don't think they were really necessary. I was just having a lot of burning symptoms in my low back. It literally felt like someone was lighting the hairs on my low back on fire. It was really burning. It was really uncomfortable. Nothing going into my pelvis. I think I've seen a few questions about that pop up now. No pain going into my pelvis, nothing going down my legs. Just literally felt like my butt was on fire in my low back. And then just very tight, very uncomfortable. It's like I should have just gone and seen a PT. I think it would have resolved everything. I would have been a lot less stressed because I was starting to get in my own head a little bit. So it's back pain happens. Likely everyone is going to experience some sort of low back pain, and it sucks. But you have to find a way to get the right information and avoid getting the wrong information. Sometimes going through that whole loophole of seeing doctors, getting referred to people, getting imaging, spending so much unnecessary time, in my opinion, to eventually get the results that you want, it's just not necessary, and it can be really, really, really frustrating. Someone asked, do I have scoliosis? Actually, I haven't had an x-ray of my spine since then, but I wish I did have the x-ray to show everyone. I mean, it was so exaggerated. It was to the point where you'd be able to appreciate the differences without an x-ray. I was just a little shifted. I was very shifted, and that's common when the body is trying to offload a very bothered tissue. And that's just, there's a lot of really good research to show sometimes getting a medical image can lead to worse outcomes after having low back pain. And I was strung out having to get all these images and hearing these results. Like I said, I was just a first-year PT student, so I definitely didn't know what I know now. If I were to do it all over again, that would have happened. I would have taken it easy that week after. I would have just kept moving. Oh, here's a little bit more moral of the story. I was doing PT, and then finally when midterms were done, like it was the first midterms of grad school, so it was very stressful. When they were finally done, or maybe it was spring finals, but still, it was stressful. It was very stressful. When I was finally done with midterms, I got back to my apartment. I went for like a 20-minute walk, and I had never felt so good in my life. It was like all I had to do was move. I had to get my mind off of the stressful stuff in my life, and I just need to like relax and get my mind off of everything. My back felt so much better. And then in time, I was able to get back to doing everything that I want. I haven't had any back pain like that since then. And I golf, I lift. Every now and then you feel a little twinge, right? You feel a little bit discomfort. Maybe if you did a lot of lifting or you had to do something, you're bending your back a lot. But knowing what I know now, it's like, okay, I worked my back today, and that's okay. If it's sore, I probably just need a really good night's sleep. I'm just going to keep it moving, and then I'm not going to do anything crazy like book around the golf and then go snowboard for 3 days. So that's a little bit about my experience with low back pain. I'm just going to see if there was any comments here, and there weren't. So maybe let's go through some of the comments on Instagram.